President of North America and Europe, here with our very special guest. This is such an exciting time every month. We look forward to it, and we thank you for joining us. We have with us our own Dr. Jimmy Gutman, who is our Chief Scientist here at Immunotec. And if you're not familiar with Dr. Gutman's work, his history, it's pretty amazing. So if by chance you're listening to this broadcast tonight and you think, golly, I know so many people that could benefit from hearing this, it has been so successful. We have had literally thousands upon thousands of people who have listened to these replays because this webinar is recorded, and we do make it available on demand within 24 hours, and there it stays. So if you feel like you want to brush up or you want to just share it with a friend, because there's something that resonates with you that you think this will help them, by all means, please go back into your back office. That's part of our ongoing educational series, and we'll have that and make that available to you. So in getting started tonight, I just really want to let you know again, to delve into Dr. Jimmy Gutman's work if you haven't already, because one of the things that sets us apart here at Immunotec is our science. And you're going to have a lot of people out there that are going to ask you, why Immunotec? Why now? What is it that makes us different? What is our unique selling proposition or our unique sharing proposition here in our USP? And one of those treasures is our own Dr. Gutman, because he is not just someone who kind of educated himself online or read a few books. I mean, he's written a few books, but in addition to that, of course, he actually is a board certified emergency physician who has practiced family medicine. He actually has been in the trenches. And of course, one of the beautiful things I love about his story is the fact that it was really his work in the ER where he got to a place in his life and he said, you know what, I would sure like to be more of a healer and not just a fixer. And so, having said that, although he has served in many capacities, benefiting thousands of people, doctors and students alike, serving on board of directors, for the Canadian Association of Emergency Medicine, extremely accomplished. But again, he wanted to be the person that helped to bridge that gap, the gap between traditional and complementary medicine. And he has done that. He has done that through his books, through his work. We recommend that you follow him. You can see right there on your screen his Facebook handle, because again, he is an ongoing student also, and the glutathione expert in the world. And so just recommend to you, if you want to treat this like a business and grow a business, or if you just want to help your fellow man and womankind, I would say, please, don't overlook what we have here, just right, at our disposal. So Dr. Gutman, thank you. We, as always, once a month, we look forward to sharing some time with you. Thank you for being our special guest tonight.
Oh, thank you. And what a wonderful introduction. My head is growing as we speak.
Well, not too much. We'll have to get you some good neck exercises. Right. But in any case, it's a pleasure. It is a joy to be on here with you. And I'm so excited to be talking about our product tonight, because I think it deals with something that we feel, as a society, so stressed out. I mean, there's so much going on, the anxiety levels, everything's happening, restlessness, insomnia. I mean, we don't have to look very far in advertising to know that this is really, an epidemic, I think, in North America, but probably around the world. So, what have you seen in your practice, in talking to your fellow physicians? How often do these type of complaints show up when people come into the office?
Well, on a personal level, this is something that I see all the time, but even on a research level, if you actually poll doctors and look at their notes, this is one of the highest complaints, and it may not even be an overt complaint. It could just be a symptom for people seeking out medical attention. And we're not just talking about doctors here. I'm sure all the other health professionals out there, everybody from physiotherapists to psychologists, they're going to answer with equal enthusiasm. This is a huge problem.
Well, that's an interesting thing to say, because why exactly would a physiotherapist or even a chiropractor be seeing people that are stressed out and anxious? I mean, is that more of an injury related reason why people go to, to seek them out for treatment?
Well, you would think so, but stress and anxiety presents itself in so many ways. It may not be apparent to the person suffering, but so many of the headaches that we see and stiff necks and tummy aches and even fatigue, these can all be manifestations of stress. A good example of hidden stress can appear as even high blood pressure or even a stroke. So it can lead to real medical problems, but it starts out as stress and anxiety. We're so good at transferring our anxieties into real physical problems.
That sounds very accurate. I think I can think of a handful of people immediately that are in that situation. Absolutely. And as we think about ourselves here at Immunotec, really as the champions of the immune system. And I think that as we, looked at that, looked at who we are as a company, really as a movement, anything that disrupts our hormones, anything that touches our immune system in the brain, a lot of it can be related to inflammation and stress in particular. Is that an accurate thing to say?
Absolutely. I mean, how many out there listening to this have caught a cold right after exams or after a difficult stretch at work? Your immune system, when it's working overtime, and as soon as you relax, it crashes. So stress absolutely affects the immune system.
Well, that sounds familiar as well. And I think that as we look at ImmunoCal, and we look at other products, obviously we've got a lot of people building a business listening to this call or listening to the replay, in addition to, of course, customers who are just, avid fans and super users of the product. And so as we look at ImmunoCal, we know that is helping a lot of our immune system issues. But there is something to say for SerenT 200, because this is the star tonight of the show. This is a remarkable product in itself. And so, how do we kind of add that to our regimen?
No puedo.
And why should we?
Yeah, this product, alone could stand by itself for any company. It'll be great to have a chance to show everybody some of the really fascinating research behind SerenT 200.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to it. As somebody who has a high level of stress, certainly has issues with insomnia, certainly has issues just kind of shutting things down and just getting some good rest that we need for our immune system. I am really looking forward to hearing what you have prepared for us tonight. So let's get started.
SerenT 200 from Immunotec. Just to clarify the name, Immunocal used to have the product PNT 200, which just didn't seem to reflect what the product was about. This was rebranded as SerenT 200, pronounced like the word serenity, a good choice. And the subtext on the bottle says, stress relief, all natural bioactive milk peptide. Let's see what all this means. Well, the 200 part implies 200 milligrams. 200 milligrams of what? Of a bioactive substance with the scientific name alpha-casozepine. What is casozepine? It's a small protein, which we call a peptide. And because this peptide is made up of 10 little amino acids found in milk, 10, it's called a decapeptide. So how was this discovered? Let me tell you this quite fascinating story. Scientists asked some simple questions, like, why did your grandma tell you to have a glass of warm milk if you wanted to get to sleep? And if you look at all mammals, in fact, you'll see the same thing. What do puppies and kittens and baby lambs all do after they drink milk from their mommies? They fall asleep. Now, we used to think that this was an amino acid called tryptophan at work, but in fact, studies showed that the amount of tryptophan in milk was way too low to do this. Several other suspects were lined up, but none of these panned out. It wasn't until a group of French scientists managed to isolate, get this, the active ingredient that made babies sleepy. Eventually, we got a hold at Immunotec of this milk-derived substance, and it really fit perfectly into what we do at Immunotec. So for your keeners out there, this alpha-casozepine is derived from a subfraction of a type of casein hydrolysate. Now, there's a mouthful. I mean, just saying that or listening to that will put you to sleep. Now, you've all heard me say before, what are the three most important things to a researcher, a scientist, or a doctor when evaluating a product? And you'll hear it again. Research, research, and research, in that order. And there's some really beautiful research done on this peptide. Here's one study. SerenT was compared to a placebo in a case control study using over 60 women. Remember, the only real studies worth considering are human trials, not animal trials, not test tube studies. And look at some of the results. Improvement in sleep, improvements in tension, improvements in memory and concentration, even in digestive issues. And if you do statistical analysis on these, so many of them are quite significant changes. So how does this peptide work? Well, when you label these molecules with a marker, well, we can do that, and follow where they actually go to in the brain, it seems they get absorbed into the same area of the brain that benzodiazepines go to, what we call GABA receptors. And what's a benzodiazepine, you ask? Benzodiazepines are a bunch of medication I'm sure you've heard of, like Valium, like Xanax, like many others. Wow, they're remarkable. Don't you just love science? But keep in mind, this is not a drug. It is a natural substance found in mother's milk. In this case, in cow mother's milk. And very healthy French-speaking cows at that. No additives, no antibiotics, no steroids, no pesticides. So let me ask you, who do you know who has stress or anxiety? Who do you know who has problems sleeping? I don't know anybody who has not experienced this from time to time. Okay, now when taking SerenT 200, how much is needed? Well, everybody has different degrees of stress, so it depends on you. I mean, you look at these three kittens, you'll see that they all have different levels of stress. It probably takes about 20 to 30 minutes to an hour to kick in, and usually will last 6 to 8 hours. Okay, so that's the essential information you need to have, but wait. There's so much more that people have not yet appreciated about SerenT 200. It can be used as a weight management tool. Let me explain. When human beings are under stress, this could be mental or physical stress, we pump out extra cortisol. This is a hormone we call cortisol. And when there are high levels of cortisol, we start to produce fat. Now, why do we do this? Because many years ago, before we had a fridge to run to or a supermarket, we were hunters and gatherers. And for most of human history, we've been subjected to periods of starvation and hunger and long winters, all of which we had to survive. And having a good fat supply on our body to tap into represented literally life or death. So without getting into the physiology of cortisol and fat deposition, this survival mechanism is well understood. Stress can lead to fat accumulation. Now, some of you who already have insomnia may have seen some of these late night commercials. Cortisol blockers, lose weight, burn fat away. Well, do these actually work? So I did a little checking up in the research literature. These seem to contain something called magnolia bark. Most of them have this magnolia bark extract. This has been used in traditional medicine in the past, and it's actually been studied, but not in humans. I didn't find any human studies, and you all know what I think about that. Now, what I really need to see are human studies, and this is what our little decapeptide has to offer. Let's look at another study. In this case, exactly answering the question, does SerenT 200 reduce cortisol levels? Here again, women were subjects of the study, but really fit women who were actually biathletes. Now, with these athletes, the training was made more and more intense over time, causing stress, which of course released cortisol. And here we see in the charts that the placebo groups, the cortisol kept getting higher and higher, but the SerenT group did not. So all this in mind, this is really a very remarkable substance with far-reaching effects, not just mental stress, but physical stress and even weight management. So Immunotec's intention here is turning this into this. So there we go. Hope that was informative.
That was more that wow. Okay, so right now I have this list of questions to talk about, but you just your conversation right there probably brought about 10 more to my head that I'd like to ask, but I think I may take some of those offline with you later, because I think that, like a lot of the people listening tonight or on replay later on demand, did not even know about the lowering cortisol power of this product. Because when you think about it, all right, it's a sleep aid, it's a this, it's a that, and maybe I need it, maybe I don't. But to be honest, there is this particular product, and I can tell you, when I first came to Immunotec, it was the first product that I took. I took it before anything else, because in testing on myself, of course, as a guinea pig, to see what actually worked. I wanted to do one at a time, and I always like to introduce new products to my regimen, for at least a couple of weeks, so that I can tell what's working, what's not, rather than just immediately start taking every single product that Immunotec makes, right? But when I started taking it, I had obviously some great results from it. But as far as this lowering cortisol piece, I mean, do you think that that's commonly known in the Immunotec family? Because a lot of people use this product every day.
Meredith, I think that we have a gamut of products at Immunotec. One of the problems that all of these products suffer from is that they're trying to compete with Immunocal, which is absolutely the best natural product in the world. So it's tough to stand next to a giant. But these products they're just fantastic, and there's so many features that all of us are through webinars like this and other material. We're going to get people more knowledgeable of our products so that they can take full advantage. And yes, lowering cholesterol and managing weight is a real advantage of this SerenT 200.
And then another item that I think along these same lines is, a lot of people, as they're super stressed, if they're fighting traffic, or maybe there's some health challenges in their family, or relational issues. I mean, we have a lot of heightened stress time periods. That's just life. That's living. Is this a product that people can take, not specifically to get a good night's sleep, but just because they're in an unusual situation that right now has them, as the song goes, completely stressed out? What do you think?
Very, very good point. And again, it's all, remember when we said before that it's difficult to give out a straightforward answer as to how much to take. But absolutely, there are people that take a PNT in the morning, they drive to work, they take a PNT at work when their boss screams at them. But yes, the more you take, the more likely it is it will have a sedative effect. So at night, you'll probably need more than just to handle some anxiety that takes place during the day. So you have to listen to your body, and especially when you're using this product, you'll learn what the proper dose is. Now, I would start off with a single SerenT 200. And you'll see how you feel. It is very, very unlikely that a single one is going to make you fall asleep in the middle of the day. So yes, good point. And especially people who are trying to manage their weight. You know, they want to be able to function. They want to be able to go to work. They want to be able to do their exercise programs. So a single PNT 200, it's not dosed so high that it's going to make you sleepy. If you want to use it at night for sleep, well, then try a couple.
Try a couple, exactly. And I know, and for people that really, want to give themselves a little bit more, I mean, they could probably go up to as many as 4 safely. Would you say that that's an accurate statement?
Well, again, it depends on the individual. Some people are really, really sensitive, which is why we always tell everybody to start off low. Now, you may have a strong resistance. You know, people have a strong resistance to all kinds of things. Yeah, do it judiciously. Do it in a graded manner, and again, listen to your body.
Okay, well, I have got some questions that have been sent in, from our field leaders, some of our consultants, super users, customers, and so and that's really the one thing they're asking, because we're seeing it over and over and over. It's a very popular question. How many should I take? I mean, that's what they want to know. Because they're saying, look, I feel great after only one, which of course is the beauty of it, that you wake up in the morning, you're not groggy, you don't feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me a half an hour to snap out of it, like a melatonin overload can really leave you feeling pretty crappy trying to go into a workday, if you take a lot of milligrams of that, of course. And so, having said that, they think, okay, well, how many more can I take? It seems to be something that, as a lot of people want the answer to that question.
Right, right. And so start off with 1, see how you feel. If that doesn't work, take 2. I mean, there are people that are going to take a lot more, but don't take a whole bunch and try to pilot a jetliner to Europe. You know, if it makes you drowsy, then you'll know that you need to take some precautions.
Okay, so the question, if it can cause drowsiness, your answer to that for our audience would be, can it cause drowsiness, Dr. G? What do you say?
Yes, it can, but it's dose related, and because
Okay.
we have a low dose in a single capsule, which is intended more just to handle anxiety than cause drowsiness, it's unlikely. But again, there are some people who are really, really sensitive, so try it and see.
Mm-hmm. And then, so if somebody takes it right before they're going to bed, okay, which is, usually how people do, they say they take a couple, and they start to kind of unwind, and they start to relax, and they start to doze. Is there a particular reason why, if something wakes them up, that they have trouble finding that particular, kind of that sleep mode? Is there something that happens and that you would recommend that they try to be still, or know that going into really wanting to help it make you fall asleep, that you try to avoid stimulation?
Well, for sure. Some people are exquisitely sensitive to having a pattern disrupted. You try to go to bed and then your cell phone fires, and it's one of your kids that gets into trouble all the time. Even if they don't get into trouble, you're out there pumping out cortisol.
Yes.
And cortisol does a lot of things, and it's a stress hormone, and it's going to wake you up. So you may have to take another pill.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. I think we've covered it. Thank you. Because like I say, once people understand the magic of this product is one of, I feel, just it's a superstar. That's an unsung hero of the Immunotec line of products in our family of offerings. So Larry from Louisiana, he has a very specific question here, and he says, listen, if I am lactose intolerant, can I take Serenity 200?
This is a good question. Whenever you take anything that comes from milk, you got to ask questions about lactose. You have to ask questions about milk allergies. But in this case, we've isolated this small peptide. It's impossible for any lactose to sneak in there to cause you any problems. So yeah, it's the only substance that's left from the original whole milk after we isolate this decapeptide. Not a
Nice.
problem.
Great. Okay, well that's good because that, especially as we were talking about mother's milk and cows and bovine, I think that that'll be very, very useful because again,
Yeah.
we're not looking for our leaders or people listening to this call right now to say, oh, you've got to be a scientist, you have to be a physiologist, you have to be something, of a high education level to be able to talk about these products. You just have to be able to answer the basic questions, and if they want to learn more, point them to this recording.
Yes.
Now, Della from Detroit says that she definitely has trouble sleeping. And she asked this very interesting question, I thought, was should I take the Serenity 200 or should I take the cherry concentrate? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. Um, the answer is, and this is always the doctor sounds like always answers, it depends. So let me explain this, and y'all need to pay attention to this. The cherry concentrate is a natural source of melatonin. Now, all know that melatonin is a hormone. It's involved in the daily sleep cycle, what we call a circadian rhythm. So people who do shift work or work at odd times, or people who are jet lagged, and they throw off their circadian rhythm. They throw off their general sleep cycle. And in this case, the cherry is an excellent choice because you get your melatonin and that regulates the sleep cycle. Another interesting population is the elderly. Anybody ever notice that grandma goes to sleep late and wakes up early or in the middle of the night? A lot of older people really sleep far fewer hours than younger people. And this is often, get this, because there's a natural drop in melatonin as we age. So for the people who are above the Golden Age Club, cherry again might be the best choice. But where does Serenity fit in? Well, for the rest of you who just have problems sleeping, I need a bit of help from time to time to sleep. Remember the warm glass of milk story. Like you and I, Meredith, unless we're jet lagged and we got to get some sleep, we should be going for the Serenity 200 and not the cherry. If we're jet lagged and we've traveled from Los Angeles to Montreal and back and forth, well, then the cherry makes more sense. But the Serenity is the one for most people to try to use at night.
Well, that is amazing. And this has been I hope that everybody listening to this really takes it to heart and thinks about the people in their life that need this product. And I can, I want to just put a personal endorsement on it, for somebody that is, extremely active, somebody that has incredible sleep problems, staying asleep, getting to sleep, all of those things. This product is something I would not do without. I make sure I travel with it. I have it everywhere. I have it in my purse because it has been something that I feel has really changed my life since I've come to Immunotec. And like I said, if I had to choose and just pick a couple of products, this is one I absolutely would not do without. And so as you think about the people in your life that just, how many times have you seen people and they just are not their best? You say, wow, I got a terrible night's sleep last night, or my life right now is upside down. I have an aging parent that's just, I'm having to care for, and I'm just undone, and they can't be the best of them. This is life. This is a stressful world, and it will help support everything from the sleep, but also just to relax, just from time to time, you just need to unwind. And again, it is all natural. It comes from the natural sources that our bodies are used to assimilating and making good use of. So Dr. G, again, thank you so much for spending the time with us. And as we like to do, strategically, we try to align these educational series here on these webinars with product specials. And because this is a way for you to, as a person who wants to share and really make the world a better place, this is an opportunity for you to get some extra bottles at a very affordable price, so that if you have someone, again, you can, say, what, just give it a try. Don't go down to the health food store and buy, some over-the-counter stuff that, you don't even know if there's any science behind it because it has a pretty label. Trust me as someone, a friend, and somebody who cares about you. And here you can give them an offer and just sell it to them out of your personal inventory. At a very inexpensive introductory price, and get them to try it. And I can tell you, this is one of those products. in network marketing that is very successful because there are results that you can see and you can feel and you can measure in a very short period of time, literally, a good night's sleep. And so, it will make a believer out of people. They don't have to wait and use it for 60 to 90 days before they figure out whether or not it works for them. They will know right away. So please take advantage of the great offer and the value that you can get again, because you get, as a consultant, of course, a very, very good price that you'll be able to, again, share generously with people and let them give it a shot. And then they can go ahead and get on auto ship, because once you've taken this product, I sincerely believe they will want to be on auto ship and never go without it, because they will not want to run out of this amazing product. So, Dr. G, any final thoughts, or just say good night to your beloved family here at Immunotec?
Hey.
Thank you so much for having this series ongoing. It's a great opportunity to people to really get into the nitty-gritty of the products and start to understand the huge amount of benefits that can be found.
All right, and to our superstars, SerenT 200, we bid everyone good night.